Okay, we'll reconvene, and we'll start out with our item E, items for individual consideration. Number 1 is discussion and action regarding a rate adjustment to the current contract with Waste Connections for residential and commercial solid waste collection, transport, disposal, and recycling services, and action of an amendment to solid waste agreement regarding the same. And I will turn this over to our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, how are you?
Good evening.
Do you mind presenting to the council your plan?
Absolutely. My name is Abel Moreno. I'm the district manager for Waste Connections. We're based out of Haltom City. We also have a number of employees that call Kennedale their home. So it's an honor for me to be up here to speak on their behalf and all the employees for Waste Connections. So we are asking for a 10.2 CPI increase, which is based off of our current agreement together with the city. It's based off of the CPI for urban wage earners and clerical workers. This rate adjustment, I want to be transparent. It's easy for me to come up here and say, hey, we need a rate increase. But rest assured, this is not to pad our bottom line. This is to cover expenses that have been increasing over the years. We've got a 2015 truck currently that run the street in Kennedale, and we would like to put a brand new 2023 Mack in the city. We also have one of the services that the city has is take haul trash. So basically, whatever you put on the curb, we got to pick it up. If you look at your neighbors, the city of Arlington, the city of Fort Worth, specifically Fort Worth, you can only place what's in a cart, and it's one time a week. I live in Fort Worth. I pay over $20 a month for this service. With this increase, this will add per resident $1.47 a month. If you're looking at all in, this will go to $15.90. And again, the service is take all. What you put on the curb, we got to pick it up twice a week. City of Arlington is $18.50 a month. So with that said, when you look at our service, and I've got some stats here, we've got twice a week service, once a week for recycling. That's 36,000 opportunities on your 2,700 households that we have to make a mistake. 37,000 opportunities. If you look at the past year, we have had a total of nine issues that were our fault that we had to fix out of the 60 calls that were made to our district. That is for the entire year. So the service is very important to us inside the city of Kennedale, and that's why we're asking for this increase. We ask that the city not look at us as a vendor tonight, but as a partner. We need to get a new truck in Kennedale, and we need to take care of some of the expenses on our end. Thank you.
Thank you, Abel. So I'm showing that the total increase with the 8.25% tax is 159.
Oh, I'm sorry. 159 with tax. I gave it without tax.
Correct. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, we'll start out with questions. Councilman Connor?
Thank you. According to your letter here that you sent on February 7th, this says it says each year we evaluate the cost per our contract with the city based on the CPU. And in this case, it says all urban consumer price index. You just said it was based off the clerical workers?
It's specifically off the wage earner and clerical workers.
Uh,
If you look at our contract, and I agree, it's a little odd. I was not present when the original contract was put together, but if you pull up the original contract, that is what the CPI is based off of.
So I just have a couple of questions, and hopefully you might be able to answer this, because I went based off of this letter that was sent to us. The CPIU, which is according to this all urban consumer price index, for all items from January 2022 to January 2023, which is current, is 6.4, not 10.2. Also, according to Moody's, the CPI for urban customer garbage and trash collection from February 2022 to January 2023 only raised about 3.1 percentage points. Again, not 10.2. And again, also according to Moody's, the producer price index only raised 2.6%. Again, not 10.2. So I'm looking at a 10% increase. And according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics for CPIU, it's at 6.4%, which leaves a 3.8% variable that I can't find. And I researched it for almost 2 hours last night. So if you can somehow pull 3.8 out of the sky and show me where that is, I would be more than happy to take a look at this a little bit, more in depth. But as I'm sitting here, I think 6.4 would probably be better instead of the 10.2. because that's according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics.
And the only reason I went off of this is what the current contract describes, that I'm allowed to raise the rate based on this specific CPI. And
Okay.
that, if you look at this, and I'd be more than happy to email you exactly the language, the verbiage in the contract, and compare it to what my numbers and how I got my numbers, I'd be more than happy to do that.
I'd actually like to see those numbers because again, I'm still having a trouble finding a 3.8% variable, which I can't find. Like I said, according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's sitting at a 6.4,
I'll-
not 10.2.
I have a sheet of what I went off of, and it's got the exact series ID off of the, I'd be more than happy to give this to you. And you can look at the contract and see the verbiage is right off of this from July year over year is what we're allowed to increase.
Okay.
And if council pleases, we can look at changing, because I agree. We probably should get this in line to transportation. I think that would
Yeah.
make more sense.
And again, because according to Moody's for, garbage collection, it's, for the last year, it's only raised 3%. So and if we take a look at that, we have a 7% variable that is like, okay, where's this at? So when you came up here and said, we're not trying to pad our bottom dollar, which
Sure.
I'm not saying that you are,
Right.
but from what I'm looking at and from what I've researched and from everything that I've seen, 3.8% is padding a bottom dollar, even though it's not very much, it's still padding it.
Okay,
You know-
Thank you.
we'll go ahead and move forward. If that's
Okay.
okay. Councilman Dagenhart, do you have any questions?
I echo the same concerns that Councilman Connor has. And I as well would like to see those documents and where you were getting your percentage points from.
Absolutely.
If I may suggest, Madam Mayor, perhaps we table this issue until the next council meeting when we have the supporting data and we can make a better informed decision.
Okay, thank you. Any questions over here? Same, Councilman Michaels? Councilman Horton?
So I see that you raised the rate in 2022 and you did in 2021 also. So 2 years in a row.
Yes, sir.
And I consumer price index, I have some issues with it. I think one, it's prone to a substitution bias and consumption bias as well. But, I would like to at some point revisit the language in that and see, because it just, show me the data and I can show you the outcome that I want. And, at a time when everybody else is getting hit with price increases, and we've had one the previous 2 years, and I'm aware it's under the contract, I would like to also see the data and see that it backs up that.
I did send the backup with the letter, but I will be sure to make sure to resend and exactly how I got those numbers and where they came from. Also, that is why I included your neighboring cities and where they're at. Just to show you where you stand compared to the other cities and the type of service you're getting.
Councilman Gilly?
In addition to the concerns that that's been expressed about how the calculation was reached, I also would like to, well, pardon me, let me first say, I think y'all provide a very, very good service. I think most people in Kennedale, there's always problems, there's always complaints, but overall, I think you'll do an excellent job. Much better than what our friends in Arlington and Fort Worth experience. But I don't, off of that, I'd like to say, I'd like to consider tabling this also. And could we maybe pursue some avenues, some changes to our service that might reduce or mitigate this cost? One is recycling. Recycling is not what it was when recycling was introduced in Kennedale. Since that time, embargoes have been placed by other foreign countries against plastic exports. At one time, mainly China would take our plastic. They no longer do. It's not economically feasible to recycle plastic. in the current situation. That may change with oil prices. But pretty much the only thing that's feasible, economically feasible to recycle is metal, clean cardboard, and probably not even glass. That being said, my opinion is I think we should maybe consider going to a once a month recycle pickup. Now, that may not be a popular view, or it may be. I just wish that we could pursue other avenues like that, as well as taking another look at how the price increase was developed. Thank you.
Okay, so if I can summarize this, we'd like to table this and look for some, the data that you're going to present or provide some data and to council, and that we'll look for possibility of maybe some alternatives. That
And
summarizes.
if I may,
Yes.
I did want to go ahead and point out really quickly, Fort Worth and Arlington, those are cities that are, 3-4 times our size, have a lot more households, a lot more trash. So they would probably be expected to pay more. I would probably like to look at some data sets from cities that are more in tune to us and our size.
I just renewed a contract for the city of Forest Hill. We extended 5 years in Forest Hill. Their rate went up to over $18.
Great, thank you for that. All right. Okay, so I need a motion to table. Okay, yes.
Does Forest Hill have recycling?
No, they don't.
They don't? Okay.
We do have a motion to table?
I have one more
Yes.
thing to add to the list, Madam Mayor. You mentioned perhaps looking at something other than the CPU. Through this exercise is we're going to have a month to work through this, and we would be executing an amendment at the next council meeting. I would think it would make sense to look at perhaps another pricing index or other metric to base this up and coming rate change on, and future ones that would be more in line with the services that you provide. So
Absolutely.
I
Be
think
willing to do that.
If we can do all of that in parallel, it would be in the best interest of everybody's time. Thank you, sir.
So that was an inline matrix data.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with that, Madam Mayor, I make a motion to table this agenda item until next month.
Okay, I
I'll
have a
second.
motion to table second. All in favor of the motion to table? Unanimous. Table this till next month.
It's an honor to serve the city.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and I would agree. I really appreciate my trash being picked up. Okay, we are going to move to individual consideration item number 2, which is discussion and necessary action to authorize Adkins Brothers Equipment Company for Tarrant County Development Block Grant, CARES Act, which is a CDBG CV project for the rehabilitation of a water line. So we have been working on sewer. This is a water line for 3rd Street between Corey Edwards and Municipal Drive, as well as approval for the City of Kennedale to provide the necessary matching funds to Tarrant County. Improvements for 3rd Street project at a total of $286,428, with the city match amount of $140,428. And with that, I will turn this over to Max from Shield.
Perfect. I'd like to make one correction to the summary and the funding amounts that need to be recorded in the meeting notes, please. The city match will actually be $140,427. The county's match will be $146,000 or $146,001.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, so the city's match will be $140,427,000.
Okay,
The county's match will be $146,001.
okay. So we moved $1.
Yes, got you guys one more dollar, so.
Okay.
Um,
Go ahead.
So with this project, this will finish off the water line improvements along 3rd Street. It'll be the last stretch of the 12-inch water line along that road that services most of this area around City Hall. So it'll be a complete brand new system. So you guys will have a brand new PVC pipe, brand new sewer line, everything within that area. Going forward with this project will not only increase reliability of the system, but will also help serve additional residences in the future if any new service connections are necessary. In addition to that, let's see, since this line is 50 years old, the old one, it's an asbestos concrete pipe. It's definitely dilapidated at this point, so we highly recommend replacing this line as soon as possible. So with that, I do recommend replacement of this line and moving forward with this contract.
Do we have any questions? Councilman Connors, Councilman Degenhardt, you
I
want to go
have-
first?
I have one, Madam Mayor.
No?
How did we miss the budget by 41%? I think that when we talked about some of these in prior meetings, I was very pointed in my question about escalation and the fact that costs are increasing. And for a 41% bust, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so in regards to the increased cost that you see on this project, we did actually go through a number of biddings for this project. We actually went through 3. We have seen the first 2, we resulted in bid prices of about $360,000 being the minimum. I can't explain why those were so high. Third time, we adjusted the project very slightly. We reached out to all of our contractors that we know in the industry to try to get more attention to this project in particular. And that is when we were finally able to get a project price that was much more reasonable to our scope. In regards to why it might be so much more expensive than what was anticipated, it could be due to the shortness of the line. Contractors trying to bake into their price, the mobilization, all that other kind of stuff into these unit prices, specifically for smaller projects. So if you have a 200 linear foot project compared to a 2,000 linear foot project, those mobilization costs or any admin costs are pretty much the same. In addition to that, it might be due to the complexity of the line being so deep. That is due to the reason that we need to follow City of Kennedale standards to make sure it's, I think, a minimum of 7 or 8 feet deep for unimproved county type roads. So regarding the increase that was unanticipated, unfortunately, that could also be due to the increased PVC prices that we have seen in the matter of months compared to the original assessment that I've presented to y'all, I think back in March of last year.
Do we have budget to cover the unexpected delta?
Yeah, the funds will still come out of the 2021 bond election. Certificate.
Thank you.
Councilman Connors?
I'm still formulating. Give me a second.
Okay, Councilman Michaels? Councilman Horton? Councilman Gilling? No?
No question.
I'm almost done. Give me just a second here. Thank you. All right, so looking at this bid tabulation sheet that I do see here, last month, XL4 came in with a bid for $739,950. Now they're coming back with $353,925 for a difference of $386,025. Why did they come in with such a higher bid last time and not this time? Are we working with another round of maybe subpar materials or mix-ups or anything like that?
I believe you're referring to the number for the sewer project that Excel4 bid on last month.
Yeah.
That we approved for. This is for a different project.
Oh, this is for a different one. Okay.
Yes.
In that case, never mind.
Yeah,
Excuse
so
me.
this project is about a third the size or half the size of that sewer project.
Ah, where is this one at? Oh, Corey Edwards.
Yeah, so this one's between Corey
This one's
Edwards. and
different.
this one,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Gotcha. That's where
That
I'm
was
at.
sewer, this is water. Yeah.
Yes, I know, same names. It's
I was just
confusing.
like, wait a minute, I saw this before.
Well, if there are no other questions, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve this.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve as discussed. All in favor? 4, all abstaining, or one abstaining, all abstaining, one abstaining, and that's due to you living on Third Street. Okay, so we have, it's approved 4-1. Well, 4 with one abstaining. Thank you, Max. The next item for individual consideration is appointment of a vice chair for our Planning and Zoning Commission. We have a chair and we need to appoint a vice chair. So what I did for you guys is so Michael Brown is the chair. Thanks for pointing that out. That hasn't been updated. Michael Brown is chair. And so what we're asking for is a recommendation for a vice chair. So if anyone wants to nominate a vice chair,
My nomination would be Perry Clemente.
any other? Do you have a second? Do you want to do it that way? Do you want to talk about other options?
I'd like to make, well, he already has a motion on. the
Well, he
floor.
didn't make a motion.
I didn't make
he
a
just-
motion. I just said my
Recommendation.
Yeah.
recommendation.
Okay, I would like to make a recommendation as Mark Perkins. He was the chair previously before he was removed, and he knows how to run a meeting. But I'm open either way.
Thoughts?
My preference would be Perry Clemente as well.
Councilman Horton? Okay. Councilman Gilly?
Um, I'll just, I'll defer to the wishes of the rest of the council on this. I have no preference.
Okay. So we have a 2-1 for Perry Clemente. So if you guys want to make a motion?
Motion to make Perry Clemente the, what is it again?
Vice
Vice
chair.
The vice chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
And I will second it.
All in favor? Unanimous. Perry Clemente, Vice Chair, Planning and Zoning. Okay, we are through all of our individual considerations. We have one public hearing and then we'll go into executive session. So the public hearing is case PZ number 23-01. And it is to consider a proposed zoning change request from mobile home to industrial for approximately 0.61 acres, being track 2B18 of the WH Hudson Survey, abstract number 716, located at 7100 Hudson Village Creek Road, City of Kennedale, Tarrant County, Texas. We'll have a staff presentation given to us by Nathan.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
So before you tonight is a request for a zoning change from a mobile home, manufactured home district zone property to an industrial district. And with us tonight, we have the applicant, Mr. Andre Kornev. He is a local business owner and he's hoping to relocate to Kennedale. And so he has selected or he's interested in the property at 7100 Hudson Village Creek. What we have there is an existing commercial structure that is currently being used for personal storage for the current property owner. Years before, it was a commercially zoned property. When the city adopted the new zoning maps, that area got changed to its current zoning. With the request for the zoning change, his proposed use will be a light manufacturing use. And Mr. Cornell will actually speak to his business operations and his product offerings. And I think you'll be interested in hearing a little bit more about that. But surrounding this particular location, you have, it's surrounded by similar zoning, manufactured mobile home zoning property. But to the east, we have a C2 commercial zoned large tract of land that's there. Staff has reviewed the proposed use, the business operations, and we've reviewed that against what our comprehensive plan and our future land use plan indicate and speak to. And staff, we found that this proposed use for light manufacturing would be not injurious or noxious to the surrounding community. The proposed zoning, we have found that that it is compatible with the surrounding uses, particularly when we look at the comprehensive plan and the future land use plan. Parts of our comprehensive land use plan speak to economic prosperity. And so this new use for an existing structure would essentially make it a little bit more contributing to the community, creating job opportunities here in Kennedale. The business use itself is compatible with what we have in that part of town as well. So our summary is that staff, we do recommend approval. The property owner, Mr. Cornev, the applicant, is looking to make property improvements there to include rebuilding, pouring new concrete over the loading dock that is dilapidated, a new asphalt parking lot with striping, increases or improvements to the exterior facade, the interior of the structure itself, and landscaping and the required screening. So when they get to that part, potentially, staff will ensure that all landscaping and all screening for adjacent properties is provided at that point. The Planning and Zoning Commission did consider this request for a zoning change January 10th of this year, and they recommended approval by a vote of 5-0. But to speak more about the particular use, I'd like to invite Mr. Andre Cornev up to tell us a little bit about what he's got going on.
Thank you, Nathan. Good afternoon. Oh, good evening. My name is Andrei Korniev, and I'm a small business owner. I have my business located 10 minutes away from this property I'm planning to buy. I'm leasing currently with the city of the Mansfield, with the private sector guy leasing the warehouse. My company, I started the company 6-7 years ago, approximately. And what I did, I invented Temtag pouch, which is most likely, if you bought the vehicle in the past 2 years or 3, 4, 5 years, you probably use one of my products. It used to be like a plastic bag with the Temtag being slapped on the back of the car. And it was a few disadvantages. It was very difficult to install, but on top of that, when it was going through the tolls, city have a problem to reading the toll tax. So I worked with DMV, solved this problem, and I got 2 patents on the product. One of the method of installation, and the second patent I got to the paper, also method of installation. And those products manufactured in a different state. But I'm the only one who's selling this product because I do have the rights for that product. And state of Texas, it's 75% buying this product from my company. And then after we kind of sell pretty much everybody we can possibly sell, we start producing them license plate frames, those brackets and the inserts. And I do have 2 white machines who produce that. No pollution, not toxic, none of bad type of environment. It's in-house. I also met with neighborhoods, houses right next to it. I also met with Chief Brown and gentleman, Mr. Clark, who was also working with Chief Brown. We talk about what's possible can be done. Did a lot of research, got the quotes from contractors. I do planning to rebuild this building I mean, I want to put in a lot of money into that because I'm planning to be it for a long run, and I'm hopefully going to buy something next to it to move close by because I have a 6 month baby and I go from Mansfield to where I'm at right now, from Grand Prairie to Mansfield, sometimes 5-6 times a day. It's a 30 minutes drive back and forth. It's kind of save time if I just walk into it. I look in the houses in the next neighborhoods. If something comes available, suitable to my wife and the kid, I'll probably gonna be buying that because it's way easy for me to work. I done project like this before. A few years ago, I was trying to buy the location similar to this, and I did purchase a location. But unfortunately, after I remodeled, none of the staff who lives locally would not able to drive an hour and a half. I mean, I was thinking to drive 1 hour and a half to, but they're like, oh no, if you move there, we're not gonna move 1 hour and a half away. So I have to revisit, and then I found this place with Mr. Martin. Ricky Alexander. And this place, I was very surprised it was zoned as a mobile home because it's commercial building, has a dock, it's just fully structured. Like, I was really surprised this was the case. But once again, we start working on that and met with the city officials. And there is a few other benefits. I kind of summarized it. That building has a dock, and I'm gonna there is a asphalt, so I'm gonna put the concrete there, so put very solid. I don't have a huge traffic. I have a supplies delivered once a month. Usually it's like a 28-foot trailer. We unload it, and once a day I have a UPS comes in and picks it up. It's basically divided small packages. We're not open for the public. It's very quiet. I have 4 employees who works for me. So it's very quiet, no traffic. We're not open for the public. Mainly, the gate's going to be closed. I'm going to put electric gates for when UPS comes in. We open the gate, they pick up, and they go. No wear and tear on the roads, so there is going to be not 18-wheelers coming in or any type of cars coming. For employees, we have a closed parking lot in this way. I'm planning to make this building. I'm not sure if I presented the pictures before. So this is a building. I'm not sure if you have that. This is the kind of how the building looks like right now. And I present the plans, how it's going to be as far as going to look landscaping and parking and exterior of the building. And I have another picture, which is the building I remodeled prior to that a year ago, which end up being like this, nice, clean. I'm going to also plan to not do only the outside, right, as far as the panels, paint, roof, parking, landscaping, but also inside installations, high quality as far as the installation is going to be. The only noise this building is going to make is from outside, because there is, I guess I was outside of this. It's like, what is this noise, But this was coming out from the, I guess, metal things. That doesn't have anything like that. It's like an office space. It does have a little bit of a noise, but not much of that. I don't even have a forklift. This. Also, driveway, yes, and currently we're doing the in sales, so property tax. Of course, we're going to bring property tax when I upgrade it. I'm sure the Tarrant County going to increase my property tax. And the sales tax we bring right now 3,000 a month as far as a sales tax, and next year close to 5, steady growth. And 2025 it's probably going to be close to 10,000 a month in sales tax. Once again, it's a wholesale, so we have small profit, but it's good for the government as far as because we ship a lot of package via UPS, and that's about it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. We're going to do a quick public hearing but there's no one that's, if anyone is interested, you sign up now. Otherwise, there's not a public hearing, so I'll open and close and then we'll discuss, okay? All right, so we'll open this for a public hearing and there is no one here to speak, so we will close the public hearing and we'll open it up for discussion if you guys have any questions before we take action. Any questions? No? Well, you were very thorough. Thank you very much. Both of you were very thorough. If no questions, I'll take a motion.
Actually, I do have one question for Nathan. Really quickly, you said this meets all comprehensive plans, the future land use. Now all that's being redone by Dunaway. Is that going to be possibly trigger something in the future or anything like that?
I don't believe so. The items that we're consistent with is the economic prosperity. And then the future land use plan calls for neighborhoods and industry or industrial commercial uses in this part of town. So I suspect that'll probably the updates that we have coming in will
Okay.
mirror that. I do want to say one thing that should the zoning change occur, the next step for the applicant is to go to the Board of Adjustment to get a variance for a setback requirement from the existing residential that's there. Again, he's already kind of spoken with the residents in the community, but the zoning change the change to the new zoning would require a 50-foot setback, and its existing location doesn't meet that setback requirement. So that's the next step that he will be going through should council consider the zoning change.
Where's he at now in the setback? Just out of curiosity, it's a 50-foot required.
I
Where's
think
he
he's
at?
short about 20 feet.
Okay,
I think he's short about 20.
okay, very good. All right, I'll take a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the zoning request change from mobile home to industrial.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimously approved. Congratulations. Yeah, thank you. All right, we are going to move into executive session pursuant to 551.071, consultation with the city attorney pertaining to any matter in which the duty of the city attorney under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct may conflict with the Open Meetings Act, including discussion of any item posted on the agenda, legal issues regarding the Open Meeting Act. Pursuant to 551.072, deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Pursuant to 551.087, deliberation regarding commercial or, turn the page, financial information that the governmental body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have, locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body, and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations, or to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect described by subdivision. Pursuant to 551.074, deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear a complaint or charge against an officer or employee. And number one, under that is the city manager's 6-month evaluation. And we will go into executive session at this time. And the time is 8:09. Yeah. Okay, we are back from executive session at 9:37. Mark that down. And do I have a motion from any action from executive session?
I'd like to go ahead and place a motion to present our city manager with a retention stipend as discussed in executive session.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in approval? Agreement? Unanimous decision? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?